MCA Kapsusar Ward, Chair for Water. Welcome. Let me give my chair also the side of environment.
I am Gikonyo Masi, Chairperson of Environment.
Okay, I'm Julius Ciele, Waldai Ward. Welcome.
Beatrice Chepkemoy, Kipchimchim Ward. Welcome.
I'm Koskei Simon. I'm Sia Kunyak Ward.
Irene Langat, Vice Chair, Environment.
Anita Mibei, MCH Mosat Ward. Welcome.
My name is Korir Vincent, MCA Londiani Ward, and also the Majority Leader, Kericho County. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm Philip Rono, MCA representing Kamashan in Kipkelion West Sub-County, a member of this committee. And maybe for the purpose of records, Chair, I really don't know the candidate before us. Therefore, there is no issue that might bring about the conflict in the same chair. Thank you.
My name is Isaac Matker, representing the minority group, and also I'm a member of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Martin Chiriot, a member of County Assembly, Kaprugeruet Ward, and I'm a member of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning. My name is Eric B., MCA Kaplil Artet Ward, and a member to this committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honorable members. And maybe I give our nominee to introduce himself. I don't know if there is any honorable member who has okay. Before I give to the secretariats, any member who has any conflict of interest pertaining the nominee who is before us, if there is any, kindly confirm. Okay, I'll give to the. Okay.
Hello. Hello. Welcome, Wesley. I am Philip Kimwena Mutai, a member of County Assembly Kipchimchim, and friend to this committee. And also, I want to say I know Wesley. He comes around my place, even though he's coming from Kapsau's Ward. I know him to be a very hardworking young man and a very honest person. So thank you.
Having known that, I hope you'll not bring any disputes pertaining the interview.
I will not.
Thank you. Allow me, nominee, to give to our secretariats to introduce themselves before I give you an opportunity.
Welcome. Good morning. My name is Abraham, Deputy Clerk in charge of administration. Thank you.
I'm Patrick Koech, Office of the Clerk.
Koech Patricia, Legal Officer.
Good morning. William Tole, Committee Clerk.
Good morning. My name is Kipkurui Bernard, Research Officer.
Thank you. I'm Kimeta Liston, Answered Officer. Thank you. Kirui Gilbert, Sergeant at Arms.
Priska Mosoni, PR Officer.
Thank you. Let me give you now, Wesley, an opportunity to introduce yourself. Who are you? And maybe to give us more picture by telling yourself. Welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank this committee for having me here. My name's Wesley Koech. I'm a resident of Kericho County. I come from a village called Ngororga, which is in Maso sublocation, Kapsaus location, and it's also in Kapsaus ward. I was born in 1986, and I started my early education in Chemwawak Primary School. That was between 1992 and 2000. I proceeded to Kipchimchim Secondary School for my secondary education. That was in 2000, between 2000 and 2004. And then I proceeded to the University of Nairobi between 2006 and 2010, where I did my bachelor's degree in geology, and I graduated in September 2010. After my graduation, I went to, I was employed. I started my employment in 2011. A junior exploration company in Western Kenya, doing exploration of natural resources. So I started off as a junior geologist, and over the years I've worked for, I have a work experience of right now 11 years. And my main tasks that I've been doing there is basically, because geology involves so many things, and one of the things that we've been doing, we've been involved in doing surveys of water and drilling water boreholes, and doing environmental impact assessment, both internal and external. And up to recent, my recent post was a senior geologist, and some of the responsibilities that I had was making budgets and plans for the department. That is the annual budget. I've also been involved in coordinating the other departments. We have about 4 departments, and they have all been under my supervision and my guidance. And over the years, I've also gained skills in leadership. I mentor young geologists who are working in the field, and also any upcoming young geologists. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much for that introduction. We'll take you through some of the questions, and I hope we'll cooperate together. I'll give Honorable Kikonyo to take us the next question.
Congratulations, our nominee. I'll make it this far to be here. Thank you very much. And I would like to know about, do you have any other published materials you have been authored or edited? And if yes, supply for companies of any reports, memorandum or policy statement you prepared or contributed in the preparation of any bar association.
Thank you. I do not have any publication.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kikonyo. I now give Honorable Philip to
Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity. And maybe first, before I post my question, Chair, is to congratulate actually the candidate for finding his way until he reaches this county assembly. I want to say congratulations and welcome. Sorry for the small interruption for our systems. Maybe my first question, Wesley, is actually you are very much aware you've been nominated to the Department of Water, Energy, Forestry, Environment, and Natural Resources. And from the look of things, after going through your CV, I've seen that you are actually very much rich in experience in terms of geology. Kindly explain to this committee how you will be handling the issues to do with water provision, because actually the geology, you are doing much on drilling and those natural resources, excavation and the likes. But you see, in our county, the much we are doing is the issue of both surface water and the underground water. We are dealing with the environment based on the issues that were actually devolved. You see, now can you explain to us how you will be able maybe to match now the experience now that it seems from your CV you've actually dwelled so much on the issue of geologies and actually the issue of now the general engineering in terms of water solutions to the people of Kericho. Can you explain to this committee how you will handle the same, given that you are not an engineer by profession, and actually the people you will be leading and much of the works that you will be handling is actually engineering related? That is my first question, Chairman. My second question is actually the kind of education from the documents that is in our possession. I've seen you went to Nairobi University and studies geology. Can you kindly relate now the study of geology to the portfolio that you've been appointed to? Thank you, Chair.
Welcome, Wesley.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start with your first question that you've asked, that being a geologist, which experience do I have in water sector? And as I did in my introduction, I said that some of the projects that I've been able to handle was actually related to water. We've been doing projects of drilling water in the areas that we've been working. That's as part of the CSR of the company. And other things that we've done is we've actually done a mapping of all the water projects that are within the areas that we're working. And we were able to rehabilitate some of the projects that were there. There were some stalled projects. And one of the requirements that the community was requesting the company to do is rehabilitate them, for them the water sources. So as a senior geologist, I was doing that. We were ensuring that we go and visit all those projects and see what can be done to ensure that people, because I agree with you that water is a basic need. Everyone needs water. And so that's one of the aims that we wanted to ensure that these people have water. So we rehabilitated a couple of projects that were stalled, and people got water. So that answers your first question. Your second question was about the education, being a geologist and how that is related. Geology is a broad field. And one of the units that I did in the university was hydrogeology, which is basically the study of groundwater. I also did environmental geology, and environmental geology basically deals with the interaction of the human with the environment. And during my study, we have ways in which we can come up with a solution on how people can conserve their environment. So that deals with the environment sector. When it comes to natural resources, that is basically also another branch of geology, and I studied that as well. And as you have said, there are not much natural resources in Kericho. Apart from we have in Londiani and Kedoa, we have the building blocks. We also have in parts of Ainamoi, we have a mineral called bauxite. Bauxite is a component of aluminium, and those are some of the resources that we have within the county, and that falls under natural resources. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. Maybe are you confirming to this committee that actually from the company you've been working, the only works that you've been doing is actually through the CSR to the community? And number two, were you the one managing maybe the works that was done maybe through the CSR? And then another question to follow on the same is the issue. I want you to take this committee through steps before work's done, the initiation of a work. Take for example, you want to do a water project in a particular area. Give us the steps until the same project is termed as fully done. The steps, are you aware of these steps, the government steps, until you award the whole contract, or until the works is actually termed to have been fully done?
Thank you. Through the chair, your first question was about if I was involved in the supervision of those projects. I was not involved, but I was responsible for them. Like, I could ensure that the work that was planned in the department was actually effected in the field. And from the onset of the project to up to the final end, where we get the final results, getting the water to the people.
You didn't get my question clearly. Were you personally involved in those projects you are saying you've done, maybe through the CSR by the company you are working for? And then number two, something that maybe you did not get. We wanted to know the kind of successful water projects maybe that you did within that company. If you can remember, maybe at least even 2 or 3 projects that was done successful, maybe under your supervision now in that company. Can you mention some of the projects that you did successfully until people are now fetching water courtesy of you, Mr. Wesley, as a person?
Thank you. I may not attribute that success to only me, because it was the company funding. So, but through my supervision, the projects were done. One of the projects that was done initially, when I was doing when I was talking about it, I said we did a mapping. Like, we went around and asked the people what they wanted us to do. And from what the community said, was one of them was water. Their main concern was water. They wanted water in their homes. So they could give us a project and say, there's a project here which has stalled. If you can maybe install some solar panels, the project could work. So there's no, most of the projects that we did was rehabilitation projects. Maybe supplying water pumps and solar panels. So there is no project that we started from scratch. We are rehabilitating all the projects. There's a project in an area called Isulu. So you asked me to mention one of the projects. There's a project, a big project, water project, in an area called Isulu market, which was stalled, and but now as we speak, it's running and the people are getting water.
So all that you did is actually rehabilitation. You've never initiated a project from scratch until people ask water. Now my question, you are now coming to answer my question that how will you handle the issues now, because you are being nominated to a technical department that requires a chief officer to be a technical person who has experience related to that field. Now you will be leading team of engineers who are actually required maybe to supply water to the people of this Kericho County. And we have numerous problems facing the people of Kericho in terms of water shortage. We need to initiate several projects. So you are confirming to us that actually you've never initiated a project by yourself and maybe manage through all that process until people get water in their taps at home. Are you confirming the same?
Thank you for that question. Yes, it's true. There is no project that I've started from scratch, but that doesn't mean that I cannot handle a project. It doesn't mean so, yeah.
So you'll come and learn?
Learning is a continuous process, so yes.
How will you feel when you are leading people with people who are actually inexperienced in that field, while maybe you are not reaching the same field? Will you not feel actually that maybe these people will not even respect you in terms of now the work experience and the expertise in the same field?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Philip. We now go to the next question, and I request Mheshimiwa Irene to take us.
So thank you so much, team. Our CEO nominee, you are welcome, and congratulations for coming this far. Okay, I can see you are energetic enough, you are knowledgeable, and I think you must have been engaged outside there, maybe in contracts or any other business. So can you kindly tell us if there are some future benefits or deferred benefits you have? In that matter, you tell us the sources, the amounts, and even the dates of all anticipated receipts from those deferred income, that is, if any. So please, maybe another question. Tell us if you have outside commitments, or if you will have outside commitments during your service in office. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Irene. Through the chair, let me confirm to this committee that I will not have any outside commitment once I get into office. My role will be the Chief Officer of Water, Environment and Natural Resources. That will only be my commitment that I will be committed to. Your other questions was benefits from, maybe I didn't get too clear, deferred.
Your deferred income, maybe what you, and if you've been doing contracts, for example, are there some income you are expecting from those maybe bending contracts and or any other business you have? This is by means of maybe declaring your wealth. So you tell us if there are other benefits you are anticipating to have from stock and any other thing.
Thank you, Honorable Irene. Through the chair, I confirm that I do not have any benefit that I'm expecting, any deferred benefits that I'm expecting from any
Okay, so you've not been engaged in any business, any contract?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Martin.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Mr. Wesley. I want to put across a question to you that pertaining maybe potential conflict of interest. Let me just put it like this, that maybe if there is any family member or other persons or parties or categories of litigation or financial arrangements that are likely to present potential conflict of interest when you first assume the position you have been nominated to. Explain how you would address any such conflict if it were to arise. And also, maybe you could explain how you will resolve any potential conflict of interest, including the procedure you'll follow to, in determining these areas of concern. Yes, Wesley.
Thank you, Honorable Martin. Through the chair, I can confirm that I do not anticipate any conflict of interest, as guided by the Constitution of Kenya, that if, as public service employees, you are not, if in case of any potential conflict of interest, you actually, you should avoid them. So I will avoid them in case they arise, but I don't foresee any conflict of interest. And you've also talked about if there's any member of our family that that may lead to any conflict of interest. I can confirm that there is none.
Maybe a follow-up on what Honorable Martin has just asked. You see, you'll never run away from the issues of conflict of interest. Take, for example, you'll be in charge of a very big department. I know you have relatives, you have friends. Assume your brother or your cousin or even your closest friend applies for a contract. How would you solve the issue now of the conflict of interest?
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Or actually, you explain to us the process of handling the issue of conflict of interest when it arises. And I know it will arise.
Thank you. Through the chair, as you have said, in case of any conflict of interest, first of all, the first step for me to do is to declare that this so-and-so, if there is someone who I know that has applied for a contract, I'll have to declare that I know this person, and for that reason, I may step out or step down, and because of that reason, that I may be compromised. So the best thing to do is to declare that there's a potential conflict of interest, and for that reason, I'm pulling in decision making, and yeah.
Thank you. Allow me to take you through some questions here before I give to Isaac Matkar. In terms of honors and awards, list any scholarship, fellowship, honorary degrees, academic or professional honors, honorary society membership, military awards, and any other special recognition for outstanding services or achievement. And in respect of each, state the date of awards and the institution or organization that made the award.
Okay, thank you, Chair. The only honors that I have is the one for the bachelor's degree honors that I got from the University of Nairobi. That is in September 2010. I do not have any other or any special recognition. Thank you, Chair.
You can be specific on the dates you were awarded on the degree.
It was on 24th September 2010.
Thank you. Professional association. List all professional association of which you are or have a member, or give any position held, and the respective dates when each such position was held.
Thank you, Chair. I am a member of Geological Society of Kenya. I've been a member from the year 2014 up to now. Member number 933. So that's the only professional association that I have.
Thank you. Membership. List all the professional or business article or scholarship, civic, charitable, and other organization other than listed in the 16th. Is there any other membership?
No,
or?
No, there is no other.
Okay, thank you. Allow me to give to Isaac, Mheshimiwa.
Congratulations, Wesley Koech. Through the chair, at a personal level, what is your financial net worth? Secondly, list sources and amount of all income received during the calendar year preceding your nomination and in the current calendar year. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Isma. Through the chair, my net worth is approximately 14 million. And if I may break it down, I have land worth about 10.5 million, a car worth about a million, a house worth about 2.5 million. That makes it 14 million. Your next question was about the budget for the financial year, the current or the previous one?
I said list sources an amount of all income received during the calendar year preceding your nomination and in the current calendar year. Thank you.
Thank you. Through the chair, the sources of income in the Department of Water is mainly the revenue that we get, that we collect from our water body, that is Kewasco. That's one of the sources.
I think, Chairman, is actually moving out of the context. It is personal income to you, not the county. It's actually, if I have understood Ishma very well, you list the sources of income, yours as a person.
Sorry, I didn't get that. I didn't get that clear. So my sources of income is mostly from the salary that I get from the work that I was doing. Thank you.
Thank you. I now give to Mheshimiwa Koech to take us to the next questions.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for giving me this opportunity. Welcome, Mr. Wesley Koech. My question, have you ever been charged in a court of law? Second question, have you ever been advanced mentioned in investigatory report of Parliament or County Assembly or any other commission of inquiry in the last 3 years?
Thank you, Honorable Koech. Through the chair, I can confirm that I've not been charged in any court of law in the past 3 years, and I have not also been mentioned in any commission of inquiry. Thank you.
Thank you, Wesley. I now give to, if there is any member who has a question. Okay, Mr. B.
Thank you, Chair. And once again, welcome, Wesley. I think I'll only ask you 3 questions. One is that through your CV and your presentation, I've actually seen that you are a master in geologist. I want you to relate with your educational background to the position you've been nominated to. Number 2, there have been so many challenges in our county in so far as solid management is concerned. I kindly request you to give us a road map of solving the issue now and bearing in future the benefit that will provide a solution for the waste management, and also in recycling these waste matters into useful products. Number 3, Wesley, is that you come from Kericho County, and I don't know whether you are aware about Kewasco. Kewasco is a company which actually provide clean water safe to the resident of this county. Kindly, may you highlight ways the department will plan to support the entity in order to increase water supplies network to our county. And furthermore, you know, we have issues also so far as Bomet water service providers. Can you give us how you'll solve the disputes regarding to the Bomet water supplies? Thank you, Wesley.
Welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Your first question was about how I relate my education background to the position that I've been nominated to. As I earlier talked about the geology being a broad field, and one of the fields that I studied was the study of groundwater. Groundwater sources and distribution. So that one I linked to the Department of Water, and also the study of environmental geology, which basically deals with the environment and on ways to conserve it, which also fall under geology. And also in the natural resource sector. That's also part of the studies that I did, which is the study of natural resources. So that's how my education background is tied to the position that I've been nominated to. Your second question was about the challenges of the solid waste and the solution to it. I agree with you. We have a challenge in terms of solid waste. And as you are aware, solid waste is usually, it's an ongoing thing. It's being produced on a daily basis. So we need to come up with a long-lasting solution on how to manage this solid waste. Today in the morning as I was driving in, you could see in the centers that there's a lot of garbage which is uncollected. And if we do not take any step, this garbage will get their way into the river, and that will not be a good thing. So one of the things that we need to do once we get into office is we need a proper solution in terms of solid waste management and recycling. One of the things that we can do is we can segregate waste right from the start, so that we have the organic waste in one side, we have the inorganic waste in another side, and anything that can be recycled, we maximize that to do the recycling. So what we can actually employ is we can come up with a plan to convert the waste to energy. In some countries, they've actually done that. It might seem to be a big project, but it's actually the solution, a long-term solution for this problem, whereby you can convert this waste and recycle most of it and produce energy. You've also talked about Kewasco and the support that we need to give them. I agree with you. We need to support Kewasco in terms of financing the projects that are there. Right now, we have the Kimugu Water Project, which is almost being commissioned. And once it is commissioned, it will actually help in supplying the water connection to most of the people in the county, because it will be producing about 13 million liters of water in a day. So once that is commissioned, we can actually supply water to most of the people. It will serve around 200,000 households. And also, what we can do to support Kewasco in terms of ensuring that we increase their supply. Right now, there's an allocation in this budget year. There's an allocation of about 20 million that has been allocated to support to increase the water supply in Kewasco, in as much as Kewasco should be self-sustainable in terms of revenue and running their own projects. But that's one way we can support them, so that they can that can help them to actually increase the water supply to the people of Kericho. You've also talked about Itare, the people of Litein, Kapkatet and surroundings, where they get their water from Itare. I am aware of the challenges that we've faced recently in terms of water supply. One of the reasons was the water pumps that were being used there were not in good condition, and that means that the water will not be pumped to where they should be. So recently there was installation of 2 pumps, which really helped in terms of the supply. Another challenge that has been there is the electricity bill, because you find that most of the Kericho residents, they get the higher population is in the Kericho section, and the people that have been connected to this water supply in the other side of Bomet, they do not have a metered connection, and that is one way what we can do is the two governments they can come up together and set up joint projects so that we can channel our resources to this Itare Dam, so that both residents of Kericho and Bomet can benefit. Thank you.
I don't know. I'm very concerned about the Kawasco. See, Kawasco has been relying on the budget of the country, and you see, I think it should have been independent, whereby in any collection they collect, they should be able to run their affairs well and to be able to provide water within our country. But I want to ask you, what is that thing you will do to ensure that we cap all these issues, whereby Kawasco crying out saying we don't have enough resources, and they are generating a lot of water, they are getting a lot of revenue. Can you give us that thing? If you are given this position as a chief officer, you will be able to build and to improve Kawasco to run to the proper standard.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Through the chair, I agree with you. And as I said earlier, Kawasco actually should be a self-sustainable entity in terms of revenue and running their own projects. And what the government has been, Kericho government has been doing is injecting some money so that we can boost their operation, which should not be the case. They should be doing their own operations under our guidance. One thing that we have to do, we have to ensure that, because right now, as we speak, the revenue that is being collected in Kawasco is very low. And the factors that contribute to this is we are losing a lot of water. Right now, the non-revenue water is at 51%. That's a lot. The recommended percentages of non-revenue water should be, according to water regulatory body, it should be around 25 to 30. So if we can reduce that percentage to even 30%, we can generate revenue from that. And what are the causes of this non-revenue water? We have commercial losses, whereby, and also whereby water is being lost. Treated water doesn't get to where it was intended to. So what we can do is to ensure that we deal with these, we find ways in which we can reduce water losses. One of the approaches that we can employ is we can use IT approach, whereby you can use low radio waves to detect any leakages in the pipeline. And also another thing that we should do is to get master meters, because a lot of water is being lost maybe through illegal connection, and we must find out where they are. And the easier way of doing it is if we have a master meter, you can actually tell where the water is going to, where we are losing water, and get our guys on the ground to check these illegal connection and disconnect them. Another thing that we can do, we have to satisfy the customer. A satisfied customer will always pay their bill. And if you can supply constant water to these people, they'll always pay their bill. And and by doing that, we will have increased the revenue that we're getting from them. and that will, by doing that, they will be self-sustainable. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Okay, Mheshimiwa Anita.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Wesley, for taking the time to be able to take us through what we are discussing today. I think my colleagues have talked more about, just wanting to understand better the solutions you are bringing in to Kericho County. As we talk today, we have perennial water shortages in Kericho County. And what I would like to hear as I sit here is the solutions that you are really bringing on board. 10 years down the line, we are still telling our people, you'll get water in your homes. Wesley, as you talk to us today, you're the accounting officer. We have the CEC, yes, but most of the work will be in your office. Kindly tell this committee the possible solutions that you think will solve Kericho water issues once and for all. We've talked of drilling. We've talked of protecting the springs. We've talked of dams. We've talked of Itare. But all those things we are mentioning today, people don't have water. So as you sit, if given this position, Wesley, kindly in a minute or two, share with us that first solution that you think you're bringing on board in the first 1 or 2 months when you sit in that office, that we will feel as Kericho that we actually got the right person to work for the people. Thank you.
Mheshimiwa Irene.
Okay, maybe an additional information on the same. I want to bring to your attention, Mr. Wesley, that the population outside there is very demoralized. I happen to come from the area that lies within the municipality. And for your information, they are asking for the disconnection. They no longer need this Kewasco water because it only happens, we get water during the rainy season, and during the dry season, there is no water completely. So this issue, it is a great menace to our county since time immemorial. So you have a huge task, and you have to tell us a clear roadmap that you are going to use so that our people become satisfied. In the past, from those areas, we were trying, you may also tell us if there is a possibility, if we can exploit other means, because there is a strip that is, we have our neighbors, those are the multinationals. They want to bring water to our villages, but the Kewasco itself has a monopoly. They don't want to other people or other companies to supply. So what will you also do on the same? Because maybe the multinationals are willing, but there is that conflict between the Kewasco and those multinationals. How will you cope with that situation? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Wesley, you can answer those ones first, and then we continue.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Honorable Anita, for your question. I agree with you. There's perennial water problems in our county. We need to come up with a long-lasting solution to solve these. Once I get into office, the first thing that I'll do, we need to get a comprehensive report on all the water projects that are ongoing We also need to know how many projects have stalled and what is the reason why they have stalled. Once we get this information, that will help us guide us in giving a solution to this. One of the things that can be done, there are some projects maybe that have stalled, and it's only some few things that should be done as rehabilitation, and they are back running. We should, those ones will be tackled first, because maybe it means injecting some few money, and then the project is back running on its feet. Another thing that we should do, we should make sure that all the projects all the water projects that are planned, they should be sustainable. In terms of, you find that most of the stalled project, maybe it's due to unpaid water bills, and not water bills, but electricity. And once you disconnect the electricity, the people will not get the water. So what are the ways that we can use to ensure that the projects are sustainable? We need to come up with the ways of using maybe renewable energy, maybe the use of solars, so that we ensure that the projects that are running are continuous and they are not disrupted. Another thing that we can do is to make sure that we do regular field work. I believe in going to the field and checking what the problem is. I don't believe in sitting in the office and making desktop decisions. Some of the decisions you have to go down to the field and find out what really is the problem here. The other day I was having a chat with one of the residents, and they were saying there's a place that the water pump was not working, and when they tried calling the engineer, he was not available. And maybe something that maybe you only need to send the engineer to the ground and fix what the problem was, and we get continuous flow of water. Another thing that we should do, we can mobilize for more funding through donors, and through that we can initiate mega projects. We can do a mega project maybe in one financial year, and maybe we say this financial year we are focusing on this area. We want to do a big project that can assist, not that so many people can benefit from that. So if we can do that, instead of doing small projects which they don't end up serving the people, we can do a big project that can serve so many people, and we can leave a legacy behind. Like from where you represent, we have this Koech water project, which up to now, the people are still waiting for water. Under this financial year, I think about 66 million was allocated for Koech water project, which will ensure that the project is complete and the people of Chemosot ward get, and the surrounding wards get continuous flow of water. So those are the things that we can do to ensure that we have we connect people to get clean water. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wesley, and congratulations for getting this opportunity to be the CEO for water. Now, you have heard that within the county, actually this department is the most important department for us, especially the elected. And you realize the issue of water touches across the sector, including the hospitals, schools, and communities. First of all, I would like to know from you, the big role that you will play as a chief officer for water? What will be your key role that you will play to ensure that the water department is running? Number two, I would like to know from you, since you applied to be the chief officer, what you understand basically about Kericho County in terms of water distribution, and how are you going to intervene as a chief officer to ensure that the percentages of water supply that we have currently is improved? I don't know, maybe you know how far we are to a level that is satisfactory. Because I know, you see, relating your job experience as a geologist and also maybe other sources of water, because you see, geology means you get water from the borehole. You see, there are areas where you cannot get water from the borehole because of the structure of, I understand there is a way when you look for water, you cannot find water. And you still realize those areas don't have even another source. Women are walking far distances to get water. Kindly, I'd like to know how you get those solutions so that the people who are not accessing water are able to access water.
Allow me to ask you this question with regards to forest cover. How are you going to increase our forest cover, bearing in mind that we experienced water rationing, especially during the dry seasons, due to decline of forest cover? And two, on water pollution, how are you going to control water pollution in our streams, rivers, for example, where there is washing of vehicles and motorbikes?
Okay. Through the chair, Mr. Wesley, if this committee approves you as a chief officer of the departments of water, energy, environment, and natural resources, briefly elaborate ways in which you are going to enhance revenue collection and stop corruptions of the same department. Number two, the climate change action has been funding our county, yet there are no tangible projects to this end. How will you operationalize this funding to increase the forest cover in our county and to provide alternative sources of clean energy? Thank you, Chairman.
Maybe one final chair, in order for maybe the candidate to answer all of them. Maybe Wesley, from where I sit, the issue of solution to the challenges that are actually being faced by the people of Koech in terms of water. I want to take you back also to what you talk about the issue. It was a question asked by Honorable Eric B. on the issue of the Paumet and Koech conflicts. From your answers, actually, it's like you wanted to take us also back. Yet, actually, we've been fighting for the autonomy of the two counties. That's why a solution was reached that we get our independent water sources. A very good example is the one you've mentioned, Kipkopo Water Project. I know from the time you were appointed to this position, you must have interacted actually with the flagship projects that has been done aiming at bringing down the shortage of water in this county. If you've actually interacted with the issue of Kipkopo Water Project, one of the challenges, according to me, is the challenges brought in by the design of the same project. You are trying actually to give us the solutions on the issues of renewable energy, a very good example is solars, particularly Wesley. We come from a county that is actually unique in its nature. We have areas that receive constant sunlight, that actually the solar will be doing very well in those areas like Kipkelion, both east and west. We have the lower parts of Ainamoi, we have the Soin, almost the whole of Soin Sigawet sub-county. But when it comes to the upper Ainamoi, which is actually majorly covered by the Kewasco, when you go to Belgut and the very good parts of Ainamoi, very good parts of Pureti, where actually Kipkobo sits. It's actually in the ward led by Mheshimiwa Anita. They don't receive that much sunlight and the likes. And now I've told you it's a leakage on your side that actually the challenge with the same project, I think it was brought in by the issue of the design. Now that, what are the solutions you are going? You see, Honorable Anita is actually insisting on the issue of solutions. Actually, the county government have spent money to lay down the pipelines, they've built tanks, particularly the residents of the same area is still watching the tanks at the farm. They know deep inside their farms, there are some pipelines that has been connected, but they are not drinking water. What is the solution you are going to bring? When aside from issue of Itara and the likes, because actually we were initiating the same project, trying actually to cap the shortage of water in that area. And we've never been successful. Can you highlight for us maybe the problems? And I think one I've highlighted is the issue of the design. As a chief officer for water, environment and forestry and natural resources, what is the solutions you are going to offer to the people of Pureti for them to get that clean water? Number two, you've talked of actually the issue of pumping in the Itare. That one I'm very much aware it was doing about 4% efficiency, and the replacements of the pumps there will bring a short time solution. But you see the same water, we have pipelines that was laid maybe long time before I was born. Now, the issue of master meter that you want to install will be actually metering the water that will be lost maybe through the leakages of all those old pipes. And I know the very big challenge there is actually the budget, maybe to approve the old pipelines all the way from Tatitare to Pureti sub-county. Where will you get this money, given the fact when we come to the reality of our budgets, maybe in our departments, where will you, as a chief officer, where else will you get money to fund the same project? And then one last one is actually you come from, we've been told by Mheshimiwa Philip Mutai, you come from both neighboring wards of Kipchimchim and Kapsaos. Can you highlight two projects done by the county in your area that has become successful, and those that didn't see the light of the day, or in short, those actually that stalled? And using the same, you give us the solutions now to all the stalled projects in the county, if you are aware of any, and those successful water projects. I think that is it, Chairman, particularly the last one for environment. You've given us a very ambitious solutions of converting waste to energy. It is a very good idea, but kindly also explain, because of the issue of the budgetary allocations. I think you've interacted yourself with the budget that we normally appropriate to the same department that you are going to lead if this committee give you the green light of the same, this ambitious solution of converting waste in our county into energy, do you think it is possible? And where will we get this money? And how are we going to do it? Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. I think we can give you a chance now to respond to questions.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Let me start with the question that was raised by Honorable Vincent about what ways we can do in the department to ensure that people get water. That was your first question. As I said earlier, we need to.
Sorry, there is a question I asked about the role as you applied for the CEO. First of all, and before you go to that.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Member. My role as a Chief Officer of Water, Environment, Energy, and Natural Resources, one of the roles is to make annual budgets for the department. My other role is to coordinate, do coordination within the department. Another role is to ensure that the members of the department, which I'll be heading, comply to the national and the county laws, which are within the department. Another role will be to ensure that we, through my able CEC member, we can actually come up with proposals. That's through budgeting and proposals of getting donor funding so that we can support our department in terms of funding. I hope that answers your question. Your next question was about the water distribution. I agree with you. There was a mention that some areas in our county, they do not have water. An area like Koech, there is water, but what we lack is maybe just last mile connectivity. But some areas in where they cannot get water, piped water, what we can do is we can promote the harvesting of rainwater. That is something that we can do because we know Kericho is an area that is blessed in terms of rainfall. And what we can do as a department is to encourage our people, or maybe promote and the harvesting of water. Like right now, we have a lot of rains, and if we can harvest this water, it will really help us when in the couple of months to come, there'll be no water. So if we can harvest this water, this rainwater, and store them, it will be used in the dry months of the year, which are about maybe January, February, and March. There was another question about the forest cover by Honorable Njeri. And what can we do as a department to reduce the water pollution? You've mentioned about we have car washes which are near the river, and that's actually one of the sources of water pollution in our rivers. What we need to do is we need to come up with a policy on this matter so that we can have a proper framework on and the guidelines which can give us a proper direction which can curb the washing of vehicles in the rivers, so that we have designated areas where we know that this activity will not affect the water in our rivers. So we should highly discourage that, so that we, going forward, we do not have any pollution of the water in the river. There was another question by honorable member who talked about the how we can enhance the revenue collection. One thing that we can do, we need to automate the payment system so that we reduce, because that's one way we are losing revenue. If there's a proper way we can come up with a proper collection of revenue, and it can be we have one account that can be actually audited. That will ensure that we have an accountable system whereby we can account for every shilling that is collected out there. And that in that way we will increase the revenue collection. There's also a question on the climate change funding. Right now, as we speak, recently our President, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, he went to, there was a climate change, climate conference in Egypt, and one of the benefits that we got as a country, we benefited from some funding that should be channeled to climate change. So what we need to do, we need to come up with proposals on ways to increase our forest cover. In as much as right now Kericho County has a forest cover about 23%, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't increase the funding of the same, so that we ensure that if we can get some funding to get seedling trees, so that we can plant in our county, and we increase the forest cover. That's one way we can benefit from the funding from the climate change. There was also another question from about the Kipkoba water project, and I agree with you. The problem there is the design, designs of the pipeline. The initial design that was put in place was not implementable, so there was some twists and turns in terms of getting more pipings, and which was not the original plan. So what we can do as a department is to ensure that whenever there's a project, a mega project like that one, Kipkoba water project, where so much money has been allocated, we need to get the design right from the start, so that before the project starts, we have a clear plan and design to avoid these problems that will come later, and which will need a change of design that can actually require more funding. And that's one of the reasons maybe projects will stall, because we need more funding, but the initial budget that was allocated hasn't been utilized in a proper way. So we need to get it right from the word go, so that as the I'll ensure that before any project is started, we need to have a very clear plan that this is what is going to be done, and we have strict timelines. If a project has to be completed by the year, it has to be completed by that year. You've also talked about the giving solutions to using renewable energy. I agree with you. That cannot apply in some areas. So it's a case-by-case scenario. There are some areas where you cannot drill boreholes. You have to have another solution for the area. There's some areas that we need to maybe rehabilitate the current network of water and ensure that the people get water. That one we can also do. We also talked about the budgeting, that we do not have the money. I agree with you. What we can do, we need to come up with proposals and get a round table of donors who can actually finance the projects that we have, and that the budget that the county has, and we get this money from the donors, it can boost. There's also a question that you've asked about the projects that are in my area. I can tell you a few from Kapsaos ward, where I come from. I'll tell you one which is working and another one which is stalled. We have a project, we have a water project in Chepmumba Primary School. The project was initiated, it's up and running. There was a bowl that was drilled there. We have a couple of tanks. We also have electricity connected to it, and there are some solar panels which are up and running. The only challenge with that project is the community around it. We need to, the community around it, they don't get this water. It's the project is running. There's a school there which is benefiting, but the people around it are not benefiting from it. And what needs to be done, we need to maybe get some connections to the people around so that at least they benefit, because I interacted with some of the members there, and they said since the inception of that project, they haven't received any water. And the project is working. The solar panels are there, the electricity is there, but there's no water. So what can be done? We need to supply this water to the surrounding. If it means we boost, maybe add some tanks, which is something that can be done, and the people get water. There's another project in which is called Kiptegan Water Project. That's an example of a stalled project. Initially, the project was meant to use gravity to ensure that the water gets to the people. But as we speak, the project is not working right now because of the challenges of probably the design, because the water is not getting to where it was intended to. You've also talked about the environmental issue of the solid waste management and what we can do in terms of setting up the plant, the recycling plant. I think the most important thing is we need funding for this, because it's a project that needs money, and we can get donors. We get donors and tell them this is the problem that we have in our county. If you can assist us and we have a plant, that will be a long-lasting solution for the county. Because as I said earlier, the solid waste production it's an ongoing thing. There's no day that the waste will be not. It's a daily thing. Every day we produce solid waste. And if we do not come up with a long-lasting solution, we'll be revolving around. Every year we are talking about our towns not being clean, our centers not being clean. and yet we can come up with a project a mega project that can actually solve this solid waste management once and for all.
Maybe, Chair, I'm getting Wesley talking of we. Are we, is it we with us or you? Because we are asking you question. Can you clarify whether we, meaning all of us, we are going to do the same? Because we are affecting one person named Wesley. So can you put yourself to we, or you clarify that?
When I was saying we, I meant the department. The department here. So thanks for that clarification. I think I've touched most of the things that were asked. Thank you, Chair.
Let me ask another question, Wesley, especially about the roles. Who is the accounting officer of the water department? And again, are you intending to have some policies developed within the water department if you are given a chance to be the CEO? Regarding the issue of sources of water, you said in other areas you intend to do water harvesting. But sometimes you see when you harvest water, what capacity is it enough for a population, let's say of around 10,000 people, who doesn't have other sources? And I've seen from your experience with boreholes, there are some boreholes which maybe have been drilled and they have enough water. But the issue is the cost and the management of the boreholes so that it is successfully serving the people. Maybe you can give us, maybe you can explain to us. First of all, I've asked a question about the accounting officer and the policies. And the other sources of water, can you elaborate what other sources, and if it is harvesting, what capacity do you think you can harvest water so that people can be satisfied with the water use? And also on the boreholes, because you have some experience in boreholes. But you see there are some boreholes that have issues in management. Kindly maybe help us know and understand how can we be able to ensure that the boreholes are managed properly in our societies.
And also, Chair
Martin.
I have a quick one, Mr. Wesley. Also, I'm happy that you've mentioned about the last mile connectivity in areas like Koech. I want to add to you maybe that some of the tanks that we have in Koech, particularly Koech ward, that were built by Kewasco and is serving the people of Koech and the rest of the populace, sits on the private land as a CEO of the county. How are you going to address this issue of tanks, given that some of the members or the owners of this private land says that they have not been compensated by the county or Kewasco? Then number two, there are concerns also that by Kewasco employees that they are delayed salary payments and delayed remittance of statutory payments also. How are you going to fix this as a CEO of water? Thank you.
Mheshimiwa Anita.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Wesley, I know we've dealt so much on issues to do with water because that's our major concern. However, we also have, you also be in charge of environment. We've talked of forestry, natural resources. maybe also shed some light on the plans you have on the side of the forest. With the little experience I've had with the department or the team from the forest sector, most of the time they have no budget to actually do anything. As much as we have some staff under the forest department, you rarely see them doing anything. And it's a matter of concern because we're talking of climate change issues. And we know if we don't take care of our forest and all that, we might also be waiting for something bigger in terms of the challenges that the county is facing. So I don't know if you can shed some light on any plan that you have. Since we have an issue from the budgeting bit to the actual deliverable on that department, I don't know if you have an idea of what you'll do differently to see the department or the sector under the forest actually doing some work within the communities. We're also talking of issues to do with water, our natural springs. We know that we're supposed to be doing some protection around those springs, but rarely do you see them doing much work, and it's because of the challenges they face. So kindly share some light on that as we engage on the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Time is not on our side, and we have a lot of questions pertaining this department. Maybe I should respond to these questions. There is also the sources, the natural sources of water, which has been destroyed by planting some of the trees. What are some of the steps you will take, given an opportunity, to see that we restore these natural sources of water? Number two, I don't know if you know of all the initiated projects, main projects that we have within the county and their status, and if so, there are some of the stall projects. What are some of the ways that you'll see to make these projects work? And after the election, when our governor resumed his office, there are so many issues concerning the wage bills, our pending bills concerning these issues. Now, I don't know if you have identified some which has the pending bills, and what are your plans to see that any project that you initiate will be accomplished without any bills pending? Thank you. You can respond to those questions.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Let me answer the question that I was asked by Honorable Vincent about the roles you were asking, who is the accounting officer in that department. As the chief officer, I'll be the accounting officer for that department. You also talked about the policies. Yes, we, as a department, I will initiate the coming up with policies concerning. We have so many sectors. We can come up with policies of the county right now has a drill rig. We need to come up with policies of proper use of this drill rig, because currently, as we speak, the drill rig has only drilled about 30 boreholes, and if we can utilize this machine, we can get some revenue out of it. But before that, we have to come up with some policies around it so that that section receives the supports that it needs. You've also talked about, you're asking about the harvesting of rainwater and the amounts that I can mention. This actually depends on the population, because for you to gauge what is enough for the people, you have to know first how many people are going to benefit from this. And from that, you can come up with some numbers in terms of liters that can be produced, that can be harvested, and that can serve a particular area, or so that depends actually on the population. So that it's a case by case scenario. About the boreholes, I agree with you. There are some boreholes that can be drilled, and then after a while, there's no water coming out. We need to make sure that a proper hydrogeological survey is done to ensure that we get the right depth of the aquifer, so that we do not get into trouble in terms of water supply. Because if you don't drill to the right depth where the aquifer is there, you will not get water. At some point, the water level will drop and the boreholes will not be working. So another thing that can be done with the boreholes, we need to find some ways of monitoring them, be it using the technology. There are some sensors that can be installed, and it can give you a report of the situation of each borehole. There was another question from Honorable Martin about the water tanks that are sitting in private land. You've talked about the compensation of the same. I think that's the way to go. We need to make sure that these, in case any water is installed in any place, we have to make sure that proper compensation is done, so that we don't get in trouble. Another thing about, you also talked about the last mile connectivity. I think that's the thing that in your area that you're coming from, that is Kapkugerwet. That is, most of the people have water, but there are some who doesn't have water. And if we can budget for installation of more piping, these people will get water. And now that we have the project in the Kimugu Water Project, that is almost to be commissioned. If we inject another 13 million of liters of water in a day, these people that have been connected can get water, interrupted water supply. We also talked about the employees of Kewasco. We have some delayed payments, and also we have delayed remittance. I think it's something that can be sorted out. We need to sit down with the management and find out the reason why this is happening, because we need to have motivated staff. And as I said earlier, if we do not have motivated staff, we will not achieve the final customer that is receiving water will not be happy, and will not get enough revenue. So if we can sort all those issues, so that we have motivated staff, and by one way of motivating them is paying them on time. There was also another question from Honorable Anita about the plans for forest, and that there is no budgeting for the same. Well, there's also an issue of protection of springs, that's the water sources. I think what we can do here, we need to come up with plans on where we can source these the seedlings. If we can get some groups, maybe youth groups, who can actually maybe come up with some seedling projects, and we can source those seedlings within our county, and we can plant them as well. In terms of spring protection, we need to involve the community, because if you do not involve the people, you may end up getting more projects that have stalled because we haven't involved the community. Another question was about the county projects. I may not be aware of all the projects that are there because we have several, but I can mention just but a few. Of course, the mega one is the Kipkobo Water Project, which is still in progress. We have a project in which is called Kimi Bay Water Project. Kimi Bay.
Where is it?
It's in this. What is this? I'm forgetting. I'll get back to that. We have a project in Kipchimchim ward called Kinyasa Water Project. We have a project in Chepson ward, which is called Sachoran Water Project. Those are some of the projects that I can mention within the county. Another question was about the pending bills. How can we deal with the pending bills? You're all aware that it's pending bills is one of the problems that every year we have pending bills. What I can do in the department is to ensure that we have, to avoid this accumulation of pending bills, we need to work as a team in the department. We have the accounts department, we have the procurement departments. We need to ensure that the procurement department, when they are procuring things, once we receive goods, they have to ensure that they confirm that the goods that were procured are the actual goods that were delivered. And also coordinate with the accounts department so that they ensure that these goods that have been confirmed from the procurement that we have received, they are paid for. So by doing that, we work as a team and ensure that everything is in line. Anything that has to be paid should be paid in time, so that we do not have the project stalling, because that will, if you don't pay, the project will stall. Thank you very much.
Chairman, one last thing. As a senior geologist now, you are aware that we have a drilling rig that was bought at a cost of close to 58 million at the county government of Kericho. I know from what I have seen in your CV, your field, actually, you dwelled so much on these issues of drilling. County government is a non-profit making government. Now that we have this machine, in your own projection, maybe this one will require short answers for my own consumption. How much do you cost, or at your company, your previous company, how much did you cost to drill a meter of a bowl? That one will be cross-examination between me and you.
Additional will you advise this committee or this panel process to consider drilling as a county or outsourcing services for drilling? Because actually the honorable member have asked a question concerning drilling, and that is your area of specialization. Kindly advise us whether we are going to use our own sources or you outsource the services. Rejoin on the same. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for the rejoinder, Honorable Eric. How much did you use to cost drilling a meter of a bowl?
Thank you for that question. The cost of drilling a meter, it depends. If you own a rig, you'll...
I'm saying as a commercial. You see, now the company you are working for, they were doing projects, commercial things for money.
Yeah.
How much did you cost?
A meter cost 15,000.
15,000 shillings?
Yes.
Drilling plus only drilling, a meter of a bowl, 15,000?
Yes.
Now this one is from what we've seen from various commercial bowl drillers. We normally see they are charging 5,500 to 6,000 to drill a meter of a bowl. Why is it that the company you are working for was costing that much?
We have a contractor, so those are the rates that were used by the contractor.
So it was not done by your company?
It was not. The drilling was not owned by the company.
So that was the charge they were charging to your company now?
Yes, exactly.
Now I'm getting you.
Yes.
Now, with the issue of county having this drilling rig, how much do you think they should be charging in case we use the same to get maybe revenue to the county?
We can charge approximately even 8,000 per meter should be okay.
3,000 per meter.
8,000.
Now, taking you back to Chemgobo Water Project, where you come from, maybe I'm not sure whether you have the same facts, but actually we use close to 6 million to drill and equip that bowl. Yet from the commercial people who does the same, from my own calculation, it is giving me that we were supposed to spend around 3 million. What do you have to say about the disparities?
The cost of drilling a borehole entirely depends on the depth of the water.
Now, given, taking for example, if we had to engage maybe a commercial driller, they take around 6,000 to drill a meter. When you calculate by almost, I think that one we did around 100 meters. You see the final cost when the county did the same project came to around 6 million. While if you do your own calculations now, using the same 100 meters from the commercial drillers, you could get around 3 million. What could be bringing these disparities?
I believe that figure is comprises of the installation of pumps and the whole infrastructure. It's not only drilling, right?
Maybe I'll give you as a takeaway
maybe
assignment for your role.
I'll follow that one now.
Thank you very much. Number 2, there is this GIZ master plan for the Kericho County government on the advisors on areas to drill bowls or areas that we can find underground water. What do you have to say about the same?
Rejoinder, Chipana Chair. I'm also interested on the cost of the boreholes. Because you see, our intention as the intention of county government is to serve its people in a very efficient and even economical way. Because you see, we normally do budget, and the budget allocation is very minimum. In fact, we need more money from the national government. Whatever money we have to spend it properly and to ensure that people get services. Now, on the costing of borehole, you said drilling 1 meter is can be costed as 8,000. Is it?
Yes.
8,000. Eh? But you see, if you can get quotes from those other people who are doing it privately, I know even in areas like Ajado, where they do a lot of drilling, I'm very sure it's less than 5,000. And if you say we are charging 8,000, are we not making the cost of access to water more expensive? Again, there is the issue of costing. I would like to know about the costing. Apart from drilling, there is the equipping. And kindly tell us the total cost of drilling and equipping a borehole of 100 meters, so that we see if is it economical for us to drill a borehole, or we can say it can be cheaper for us to source water from other places cheaply and people to access water. Because one, I've realized that it's very expensive sometimes to manage water, yet we are trying to ensure that water is as free as possible.
Just to rejoin the chair, I know we are talking of drilling services. I think the other day we were at public participation, and we were looking at the finance and economic planning, looking at the finance bill. I just opened one of the parts that were actually guiding us as a county, as Kericho County government, and the rig services, the proposed rate that we're actually looking at as at today, the borehole drilling per meter, we are talking of proposed over 1,000, though we were asking the public that is 1,000 enough? So I don't know, Wesley, if you were in that public participation, if you had talked of 8,000, if actually you could have agreed on that part. But that is where we are currently. So as you look into the public, as you look into the borehole drilling part, I don't think maybe 8,000 would actually be achievable, or would be something that the community, the people of Kericho would actually afford, because we're saying we want to reduce the cost. So those are some of the things maybe you will still look into, because 8,000 for the people would be very expensive for them to actually afford. Maybe you're talking of 8,000 plus other services, but not just the drilling per meter part. We have also issues like test pumping that has a cost. The surveys, the geophysics surveys, it has a cost. So I know it's a whole component of other items, but we are talking of just drilling. That would be on a higher side. Maybe just you can expound further what that 8,000 entails. Is it just drilling or additional of other services? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Through the chair. The first question was about the cost of drilling, which I think it came from through, there was a question of what is the cost of drilling over 100 meters? So there are some factors that affect drilling of borehole. If the formation, that's the rock in the ground is hard, you will use more fuel. So there are some variation on that, because some places we have soft rock, some places we have hard rock, which will need more power to drill. So that can be a small variation in terms of costing of it. But 100-meter borehole, you will need some casing, and a casing of 6 meters, is about 20,000. So one casing is about, which is 6 meters, is 20,000. So if we are drilling a borehole of 100 meters, that means we'll need how many? About 15 casing. So 15 by 20, that will be 300,000. And then, of course, you add the cost of fuel, which I said it depends on the hardness of the rock, because some formations are hard, some formations are soft, so you will drill faster. Also, another cost factor there is the test pumping, to know which the right pumps to use there. So that can be around another 30 to 50,000. And then, of course, the installation of this pump, which when you have done your test pumping, you will know the right pump to use. And they vary. There are some costing 250,000, but it depends on the capacity actually, which you will be advised after you do the test pumping. A question by Honorable Anita about if we can get a rate of over 1,000. I foresee a challenge on that, because if you drill a borehole with 1,000, you might not be able to finance you, because you will need fuel for this. You will need what from the community.
We did the same, asking. You see, you have to give maybe a resident the machine, you fuel, but only I think 1,000 was meant for the revenue now, but actually the total cost of drilling will be gathered by the manager himself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think we can engage further on that, and we can come up with a policy. I talked about the policies earlier. We will formulate a policy which will give guidance on that, on which rates to use, and I think we can come up with a solution for that. What was another question? I think that should be all, Chair.
Okay, before I give you an opportunity to give your closing remarks, based on the chapter 6 of the Constitution, you are supposed to give us all the original documents, and we have received, and I think according to your documents, we are missing the certificate of higher education loan board and CRB. So I don't know if you have been listed in the CRB.
No, I don't. I actually have it. I have those certificates here. I have them.
But you didn't submit them.
Maybe I can get them. I have them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am not listed.
Maybe before the end of business today.
Yeah, even before lunch, at the time, as soon as I exit here. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me give you only a chance to make your final remarks. Welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'd like to thank this committee for having me here today. It's been an interactive session, and I look forward to working with you and ensuring that the great people of Kericho County get the services that they need. And my priority will be water. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honorable members, and Wesley, thank you for giving us your opportunity. And thank you also for responding to our questions. I wish you all the best. Given an opportunity, let us make our Kericho County proud of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sachanatam, to escort Wesley. Thank you.